What's going on, everybody? Chase with IW Hockey here today with Audrey, who is the business unit manager of Head and Face for CCM Hockey here at your headquarters in Montreal. We have your full line of helmets in front of us. Before we start talking about each individual model, especially those two new ones this year, how would you describe CCM's goal when it comes to head protection?
Great to have you again, Chase. So, of course, at the core of everything we do at CCM, it's protecting the player at every age and every level of play. We want to make sure that they're equipped with the best comfort and protection out there so that they can play their game without any concerns. And we do that with a lot of research R&D with the University of Ottawa, among many other research partners. The Neurotrauma Impact Science Lab, we do a lot of video analysis to really study how players get into different impact situations and really how to best create technologies that will mitigate against those impacts so that they can be best protected.
And one of the coolest conceptions as a gear fanatic is the Supertacks X, which really leads the charge in your entire helmet family. For those who have maybe not seen it too much yet or heard about it, how would you describe the technology and the protection benefits of the Supertacks X?
Definitely our most innovative helmet introduction. I would say most popular at the NHL, so you see a lot of your favorite players out there wearing it. What was really the game changer in that helmet was the introduction of our 3D printed Tech lattice technology. So that is a resin that is 3D printed. It's digital manufacturing that allows us to really tune the lattice structures to where players need better protection, more comfort, and really tune it to their needs and to the level of play that we're looking to protect against.
I mean, it makes sense because you're taking all different types of impacts. You've got to think of airflow. My favorite part about it is just the overall comfort level because it is so finely tuned that everyone has a unique head shape, and it feels like it was made for your head, even though it wasn't specifically. So, I mean, that has just been such a game changer, especially when it comes to airflow. And we see that in the two new helmets this year. So before we start talking about it, let's dive into the 920, the FTW, and CCM's goal when you're coming up with both of these.
So I think what we established with the Supertacks X was, as you mentioned, that airflow and how we can bring an element of performance gain in a helmet, which has kind of never been talked about before. You know, you can shoot better, skate faster with new technologies in those skates and sticks, but in helmets, how can we make you a better hockey player? And I think what science has shown us is that by keeping your head temperature cool, you're actually allowing your heart rate to slow down and your body doesn't have to work as hard to keep your body cool, which allows you to perform at your peak throughout your play. So taking that element of what we call our AirTech technology, keeping the body cool, and bringing that into a more accessible price point is where we really dove into the new design of our Tacks 920 helmet. And that helmet integrates a brand new shell design and this great AirTech technology. So really bringing that airflow story from the outside in and inside out to maximize the cool factor, if you will, of that helmet.
And that has a double meaning too. When you say cool factor, you look at this helmet, we talked about off camera, it just looks modern day. I don't want to say futuristic because that could come across the wrong way. It just looks modern, sleek, and cool. And as you thought about building AirTech into this system, what are a couple differences we see in that airflow when you compare it to Supertacks X?
So what we've done here is actually integrated a combination of technologies. So we have our 3D printed Tech, and it's actually aligned perfectly with the new venting on our new shell of the 920. So what you're getting is that as the air is flowing in, it's also flowing through really perfectly through the Tech channels. We also have a new technology called R3 Flex Protection, and that's a 3-in-1 foam that allows for impact mitigation and absorption, but also allows us to build some channels within that liner to help redirect that airflow. So as the cool air is flowing in through the vents and the Tech, it's being guided through the helmet and really maximized throughout so you keep your head cool, and then pushed out through the vents to let the heat escape, so keeping you cool again.
It seems like it's finalizing or completing that airflow structure, not just in, but also out too.
Absolutely.
And that's the R3 Flex. That is talking about airflow, but let's talk a little bit more about protection, because we've seen D3O helmets and CCM helmets for a long time. We don't see any in here. So when it comes to a protection level, how would you describe maybe the protection level and level play it's suited for, and how the R3 Flex compares to D3O?
For sure. The R3 Flex is a new technology that we've developed. So it's our own technology that basically has, as I mentioned, 3 benefits in one. So it really allows us to mitigate against high energy impact absorption at a comparable rate to a D3O arrow. So very, very efficient in that respect, not bottoming out and allowing you to really spread the load of that impact out of a high energy shot or hit. And on a low energy impact, it actually helps to absorb it. So it will behave similar to like an EVA foam. So really giving you the 2-in-1 there with only one material. And on top of that, it's extremely comfortable. You feel it has that squishy kind of slow return feel of a memory foam that gives you that instant comfort, but also long term, you just feel really good in it throughout your play.
It seems like it's the best of all 3 worlds. That immediate comfort right when you put the helmet on, those low energy impacts that you might not typically notice, they're gonna feel a little bit less noticeable, and then again, still offering that extreme high level of high energy impact protection as well. And we talked about comfort as well. Definitely the airflow, definitely how the R3 Flex is very comfortable, but maybe for those female players that are really excited about this 920 technology, do you have an option for them?
We do. So once again, CCM is leading the way in developing products and gear that is suited specifically to the female anatomy. So we've done a lot of research into what are the differences between male and female bodies, now all the way from head to toe, and essentially identifying those key features and where they may create some pain points in the current gear that's offered. And with the helmet in particular, there were a lot of recurring pain points in areas that were confirmed to be different in the actual skull shape of a female versus male player. So we dove into that and said, let's bring an elite level helmet to those players that have female head shape and really cater to them so that they can have something comfortable that's really going to protect them in their play.
For that player watching at home, what are a couple of those pain points that you can maybe refer or reference to that might click with them to say, oh yeah, maybe that male or that unisex helmet isn't going to fit nearly as well as this FTW?
Well, a couple of the ones that came up often was pressure at the forehead and at the temples mostly. A lot of annoyance, I would say, with hair pulling or not, being too tight around the hair. Female players tend to have longer hair, not all, of course. So really creating space where we needed it to allow for more comfort, but also like overall, a lot of female players tend to have smaller heads, and there were not very many options of an elite level construction in a smaller size. So really being able to offer a smaller size that will have that level of protection so they can feel really, really safe out there when they play.
And then last but not least, when it comes to sizing, we have a small, medium, and a medium large.
Extra small, small, and medium large, yeah.
What about for those younger players, maybe 12 years or younger? Is that something that they should hope to grow into, or how come there isn't like an extra small size?
Sure, that's a fair question. And our studies have shown that actually up to the age of 12 is where there's not really significant differences between the male and female heads. So basically we're targeting approximately 12 years old and up. Of course, depending on your head size, you might fit into it earlier than 12, but it's also based on your level of play and if you want a more elite level of protection. But ultimately the helmet that fits you best will protect you best. I know you've said it a million times, but we got to get that message out there. So This is made to fit better and be more comfortable while also obviously protecting better.
Well, that is very, very exciting, and we have to move on, unfortunately, onto the 720, which just has so many great features. Actually, the helmet I currently use here, it looks like there's a handful of trickle-down technologies, even though the 920 came out, but also from the Supertacks. What are a couple key features and the level play recommendation you'd make for the 720?
Yeah, so the 720 was actually a nice takedown of our 910 or Supertacks X at the time because you had that new shell that was really popular, as I said, with the pros. So bringing that new shell look in a more affordable, accessible price point, but also bringing some of that technology, as you mentioned. So this Nest tech that comes from the Supertacks X was integrated in key areas of the 720, as well as some D3O for extra protection in key areas.
So let's move on to the 310 and the 210. This is still a very protective helmet, definitely competitive level of play up to elite for the 310. The 210 more of just that standard competitive play, very similar shell constructions, if not identical. How would you describe the differences between those two and maybe a couple key points there?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you mentioned, I mean, the 210 is a good starting point for a competitive player. You have a great adjustment system at the back, so it gives you a nice wraparound fit and feel with some great foam construction and a full coverage liner, which is very comfortable. And then when you move up to the 310, you have the addition of some D3O in key areas for impact protection with that same great wraparound fit and shell.
And then last but not least, for those new to hockey, recreational players, we have the Tacks 70. What makes this such a great choice for that player?
Honestly, the 70 is a great bang for your buck because you're getting an elite inspired look. So you have a shell that really takes after the big brother or sister, if you will, of the Supertacks X shell with the side adjustment, tool-free adjustment. So that's really easy for if you're new to hockey or for a junior or youth player as well, because it's offered in all 3 age groups. You have a great full wrap foam construction liner, so that's really comfortable. Again, want you to feel really comfortable when you first step out on the ice so that you stay in hockey for as long as you can. Yep. And yeah, great looking shell, easy to adjust, and super protective for that beginner player or rec player.
Incredibly comfortable, because if you're not comfortable, you're not going to have fun. You're not going to play hockey forever. But hey, Audrey, as always, thank you so much for having us out here and talking us through your helmet line.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
And for you at home that want to check out the entire line of CCM helmets, make sure you head over to icewarehouse.com.